Hello, I'm Norm Shrewsbury. Welcome to part one of a six-part presentation on a creative business technology and life balance tune-up. This part of the presentation deals with coming out on top using technology in tough financial times. We all know that the economy has changed. Back in 2008, many of us woke up to a different world. And it's probably not coming back to the way it was anytime soon. So the question is, how do we find success now? And what can we do to utilize our strengths in this challenging time? So let's look at three of our persistent present challenges. I think these challenges have been with us since humans first began to walk upright. We've always tried to leverage our interests and make more from what we have presently. One of the things we've done in those times is perhaps gone into debt. We needed more skins for the cave when it was getting cold, and we may have offered a trade that we would pay back later to someone the next time we went out. We may have needed to find corn to pay the king's taxes during the medieval period. Or we may simply, like today, have gone into debt for various reasons with our credit cards, from simply wanting something right now to needing to get by in a tough spot if we've been downsized or are temporarily out of work. The second persistent challenge I believe we face is dealing with the promise and frustrations of all this new technology. We've been faced by this since humankind began evolving. We went from a spear to a bow and arrow. Next, let's say, from swords to gunpowder. And presently, we've gone from using a simple telephone to carrying a cell phone with us, where we get text, instant messages, and the ability to check Google at any time and use a GPS to find out where we are presently. What this all brings us about is that we have to be adaptable. We have to be willing to make changes in these ever-changing times. We certainly can't stop it, though most of us would like to at least slow it down. So the challenge now is how to kind of lower our stress, maintain our current well-being, and still be adaptable and be willing to make changes in these ever-challenging times. There's many ways to go about it, but what I'd like to offer is a particular process, something that if you choose you can follow along with. First, you need to find out where you are now. Then you need to pick a goal, something you want to accomplish. It can be a person, place, thing, whatever. It needs to be something that inspires you, however. The third part is to make a plan to reach your goal. Separate these into two sections. Often we collapse them. We know what we want and we immediately say we don't know how we could do it or we could never get there. Keep the two separate. First, decide what most inspires you, then work out a reasonable way to get there. The fourth part does involve taking some action. A goal is a dream with a plan. So it can be little steps. You can't necessarily accomplish it overnight, but I can guarantee doing nothing except dreaming and wishing about it will generally not get you there. The fifth part in this process is some kind of review is necessary. If you're successful, you want to know how and why you were so successful so you can keep doing it. If you're not, you want to be able to make changes and adapt quickly without getting stuck in a rut or in over your head where it's going to be much harder. If you've been working on something all of your lifetime, it may actually be time to give up. It might be more reasonable to pick something that is attainable versus striving for something that isn't. So the first step here is self-assessment. What do you value? What are the things that motivate you, that inspire you, that you know are your core, that are who you really are? Whether it's honesty, integrity, thrift, anything like that you know if you aren't in line with that, you feel bad. Another thing to consider are your resources. Where are you now? Who's part of your support system? What finances are available to you? What opportunities are available to you now? So it's sort of like things and places and people that could all come to your aid or you could work with to be successful in your new goal. The next thing to consider is who you need to be. You may want to be a more successful individual, but it may require that you apply more discipline or more determination, more stick-to-itiveness. It's not enough just to have a good idea and take a swing at it. You've got to hang in there long enough to see if you can be successful. The last part I think is important in this assessment is to ask why you're doing what you're doing. Is it for you or someone else? Is it for your ego? Is it practical? Is it just kind of who you are that you couldn't be another way? Whatever the reason, you want to be clear on this and stay focused with it. This is the Business Life Balance Sphere. It's a great self-assessment tool. It's something you can use to find out where you are now and where you'd like to be. It has 12 separate sections, 6 focus primarily on business and 6 on our life in general. The next section of this presentation, part 2, will go into the 12 sections specifically, and give you some insight as to what they really can mean in your life. I hope you found this short video on business, technology, and life balance useful. There are a number of websites you can go for additional information on these topics. My Tech Life with Norm blog is useful for all things in business, life, art, and culture. Specifically for coaching and technology mentoring, please go to www.shrewsburycoaching.com. Again, I hope this was useful, and please continue with the next video in this series.